It's Alex Wetmore, head strength and conditioning coach. Okay, so I did my undergraduate studies at a school called Marian University in Indianapolis. It was a small school, similar size to Westminster here, and I was on the football team there. So as a student athlete, I started to really develop a passion for figuring out how I could improve myself as an athlete, and then that led into pursuing both a degree and a career in sport performance. It was a really interesting time for me, and in high-level athletics, you spend all year long working towards a common goal, especially with team sports, and individual athletes do the same. That you've got this end goal in mind, and it was a really weird time because I was working with a lot of teams that were just getting their season underway and were having a really great start to the year. And all of a sudden they went away for spring break, and then they never came back from spring break. The job search was it's pretty crazy during the pandemic, especially being somebody who works in athletics, because at the start of the pandemic, everybody realized spring sports were canceled, that universities were going to take a hit, but I didn't think anybody really thought the fall was going to have such an impact on it as it did. So when I was getting close to finishing up my Ph.D. and we had finalized our move out here and when our house was going to be done, we started looking online for jobs, and the only thing I was seeing online was that every university was canceling athletics, and a lot of places have had to furlough their staff. So for me personally, it was pretty crazy to even have an opportunity when so many schools are just shut down and not bringing anybody new in. So I'm super grateful to Shay and the department here that I even have an opportunity to work in athletics right now. This time, especially if you're somebody that may not have work right now, it's really easy to get down and frustrated and understand that there are not many opportunities out there right now because a lot of universities have hiring freezes or are unfortunately having to make budget cuts and things like that. But this is a good opportunity for people to not only work on their craft as far as, if you are somebody that's working on writing papers or presentations or anything like that, you've now got a lot of your time available that you most likely wouldn't have. It's been very different. So even just here at Westminster, since I've been here, we have done our best to take everyone outdoors and make sure that we can have plenty of space for the athletes. They've got tons of free airflow, and we're doing everything we can to keep people healthy. And it has been interesting. Honestly, it's been a really good challenge for my own creativity as a coach, because we had to take equipment out to the field where you're not in a traditional weight room setting. So you might get the opportunity to do some non-traditional exercises. Getting to know the athletes has been interesting just because, like I said, everyone's got a face mask on and you're trying to stay away from each other and give each other space. There are a couple of answers I could give to that. I think the first one was that I had to come in with the understanding that every student athlete is coming in from a different place right now. A lot of people maybe did not have access to any sort of exercise equipment, or their local gym has been shut down since March or anything like that. So people who would normally have had an entire summer worth of consistent training and taking care of themselves and rehabbing and whatever it is they may need, may not have had access to that sort of equipment or experience. So coming here with truly a blank slate and trying to understand where each individual person is when I got here is really important to me. So making sure I can try to adjust the program for what each athlete needs at this point. I think the second thing that's been the most challenging for me is understanding that during a pandemic, there are no clear line answers. It's not always the absolute best optimal solution, but there's a lot of compromises that need to be made. I think the first thing is I'm really excited just to be here in Salt Lake City. This is not necessarily related to my job or working here at Westminster, but Salt Lake City is a really cool area. My wife and I love the outdoors. We do a lot of fishing, a lot of skiing. In the summer, we use the boat out on the lake. So it's really cool to be in a scenario like this where everything's at your fingertips here in Salt Lake. As far as what I'm really excited for in my own job is I can't wait to see all these people's hard work for the last however many months since March start to pay off when they have a competitive season. Because ultimately, training is awesome. Lifting weights, great. I love it. It's what I've really dedicated my whole education to and now my career to. But what really matters is watching people thrive and succeed on the field, because that's what we're all here to do, is to help student athletes reach their goals. And I love to come to the team events. I love to go to the games, cheer everybody on, and I'm excited to be able to have that opportunity when the winter and the spring rolls around and some of our teams are able to start getting back onto the playing field.